shift rotating point. Look at that thing. It's gone so far, we can't even see it anymore. All right. We're done with the sports stuff. When we come back, we've got a viewer that sent in a video. We are grateful for that. We're going to look at that. But before we go to this break, it's time now to manage your game.
We're grateful for that.
Welcome back to the Golf Fix. It's time to look at a video from one of our viewers. And if you haven't sent in a video, you've got to do that. It's the GolfFix at golfchannel.com. Get out there, videotape yourself, send it to us. Let me look at it. Let me help you out. And by the way, we're probably going to help out somebody else, not just you, because there are people that have similar swing faults as what you might have. This is an email question that we got from Jonathan Gagnon. Can you manage my swing? I know my backswing is flat, but I'm okay with it. Why am I opening my left foot? Well, Jonathan, anytime you've got your foot moving around, it means that the club is in some bad spots, and there's a reason why the club's in bad spots, and your body is doing certain things, because maybe not just the club's in bad spots, but maybe there's something else going on here. And when you look at this setup position, what I want you to look at, this is a 7-iron here, and what I want you to look at is, this is where that ball position is, and that ball position is well off of the back part of your stance there. You can see it's behind your head. And with a 7-iron, you want that ball at least in the center of your stance, maybe just a shade forward right there, all right? So that's the first thing that we've got going on. Let's take a little look at this golf swing. Great setup position, absent of that ball position. Very good grip. Body rotates back the club. That's a good full turn you're making right there, Jonathan. That's excellent. What a good swing. There's a lot of people that would love that golf swing. Nice high finish and nice high follow through. All right, now let's just talk a little bit about what's going on with this motion here. One of the reasons why your foot's moving is because that ball is so far back in your stance. You're not able to transfer your weight and get weight onto that forward leg because that ball is so far back there, you're having to hang back there. But there's something else that's going on here. I'm going to just draw a line going across the top of your head right here. And what I want you to look at is how this line, the space between the top of your head and that line, changes throughout the motion. So as we go into the backswing right here, what you're going to see is you take the club back and your head's going to dip down right here. This is one of the reasons why poor footwork happens in a golf swing. So you dip down right there. So at the top of your golf swing now, there's a tremendous amount of space between your head and that line right there. Now what I want you to see happens, and by the way, I love this backswing. Relative to that head dropping down, or absent of that dropping down, I love this backswing. Good full turn, arms have extension in there. The lower body has worked beautifully. I mean, this is a really good golf swing. But you've got to get to a point where this head doesn't drop down, because what you've done now is you've narrowed that space between your sternum and the golf ball. So something's going to have to change. You've got to do something. And it's possible that what you did was you moved the ball back into your stance because you want to make sure you hit the ball before you hit the ground. And with that ball back in the stance, that's going to assist with allowing you to hit the ball first, all right? So we've lowered our body to the ground. Now let's watch what happens as we start to come through this hit. Look at how much your body has raised up there. And let's go back again to that spot. As you start to come down, what you're going to see is that your body goes down, it settles nicely into that hit right there, and now right here is where you start to come up. So you're going to see this space between the head and that line start to narrow up right here. You see you jump up right there, and then you're going to jump up right there, and then your impact position, your hands aren't ahead of the club head, which is what we need to have happen. Just like that baseball thing, they're not ahead of the club head right there, and now what you're going to do is you're going to flip at it. The body's going to jump up into the air. The foot is going to start to move. You can see the foot moving right there. Now watch, the foot hasn't even moved. It's actually going to move backwards here. Watch this move where this foot moves backwards right there. You can see it just moved back right there. So from there to there. There's the line that I want right there. There's the foot, the ankle. Now watch it move back. You see how it moves back right there? And that's your body and your brain going, I've got to do something special to stay in balance right here. And so then what you do is you follow it out, replant your feet, and come up there to that finish, okay? All right, so we've got to make sure that we change that. And again, this is probably a golf swing that maybe, you might have even shot par depending on your short game, but you definitely, from a ball striking standpoint, you are very, very close to having a very good golf swing. Here's what we've got to pay attention to. First thing, and the most important thing that you can do in all of golf, when you're trying to assist yourself with playing better, all of you need to understand that pre-swing is more important than in-swing. What you do before you move this club is critical. So what's happening with Jonathan is he sets the ball back in his stance like this. And what happens, it's like a baseball player. You know, we did that baseball segment. If I stood at home plate, but I stood up like this, it would be much harder for me to hit the ball because now the ball's going faster. If I get farther back in the stance, back in the batter's box, I've got just a little bit more time to react to this thing so that I can get out there and get my hands in front and I can do the things that I want to do. It's the same thing. You've got to make sure that the ball is at least in the center of your stance with a 7-iron and likely forward, all right? So we've got to change that. Now, Leslie, if you would, give me a camera too here. Here's what's going on. When we take the club back, what you're doing, Jonathan, is you're taking the club and you're going inside like this with your arms, which is bringing your head down, and then as you start to go like this, you get the club up like that. Now, I don't know whether that would be, I would call that flat or not. I think that's what I call in and then up. So you go in and up in your swing. And then from here, when you start to come down, now you're coming back to that ball and your body is rising up and you're coming out of your spine angle. What I want you to do is I want you to take the handle of the club and make sure that the handle of the club is pointed to the target line. I don't want you to let the handle of the club point to your toe line. I want the handle of the club to point to the ball line. And when that happens, your lead arm is going to raise, which is going to keep your shoulder up in the air, and that's going to get you set up to a position where you can let your body drive down to the ball. So from here, you can drive down to the ball and get the ball compressed out like that. All right? All right. We got to take a little break here. When we return, my final swing thought. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Golf Fix.
The Golf Fix, brought to you by Scott Caddy. Save strokes and money too.
Moi, c'est des choses que je savais. Je savais pas qu'est-ce que. Tu sais, je savais que je descendais dans la balle, puis je remontais.